Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to the show, to the Coffee with Craig. Today, I'm going to be looking at Sean Diddy Combs, and we're going to have a look at what all this big scandal that's going on in Hollywood about him. I'll make a few predictions about him and some of the things that are going on in the courts about Diddy and the various accusations made against Diddy, and also, of course, going to do a few predictions for you and take your questions, because today we're live. So if you come on and you're live, do have a few sort of questions ready, guys. I will do that a little bit later in the show, but first I'll be talking a little bit about the background of it, what I think about it, some of my thoughts, and so forth. So welcome to Coffee with Craig. Well, hi again. Nice to see you coming in on the side there for the chat. Thanks, guys. Have your questions ready for later on. So, what a world we live in, don't we? What an awful world we live in sometimes when you think about it, you know. We got all those horrors going on in the Middle East, all the horrors going on in Ukraine, which we've almost forgotten about now, it seems. And we got people starving around the world. And then we get these overprivileged people in Hollywood and the music industry and the acting industry there and the rest of it, who like to preach to us about their morals and what we should vote for and all the rest of it. And we see all this going on now, and it seems to be exposing a deeper problem. You know, to me, I mean, recently with Jane, we went to Rome, and this reminds me of Satyricon. You may have read or you may have seen, I think it was Fellini's film about Satyricon, but you know, it's fallen. Has our society fallen to the depths of ancient Rome now? You know, it strikes me that someone like Sean Diddy Combs is just representative, symbolic of the kind of the anti-heroes of who we are today. What a name, Puff Daddy. You know, a bit dodgy, that name, Daddy, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, I get all sorts of horrible associations with it. But at this present time, I suppose we should refer to him as inmate 374. I've got the number written down, 37452-054 at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. So you know the story, most of you. I'll mention some of the things about it for those that are coming in new. But obviously he's been up to no good. He's now in a detention center. I think they've got limitations upon what they can do with where the guy goes. But he's going to be kept away from the rest of the criminals there, we presume. But I've been told, you know, it says on some reports that there's shared showers there, so he might have another one of his freak-offs while he's there, perhaps. So let's look at what happened. September, it's not long ago, really. September 2024. He's being charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, creation of a criminal enterprise, and sexual offences against women at the moment. Okay, so but there's lots of question marks over that. And when you look at the personality of this guy, he gives me the sense of somebody that's a real major type of control freak and wants to have control over all types of people. And some news channels are saying that 50% of the offences that are coming and reports that are being phoned in about him and the alleged offences, a lot of them are going to be, including, you know, pranksters and the rest of it as well coming in. But a lot of those, 50% of them, they're saying about allegedly saying offences against men, young men. And so we're seeing possibility here of a serial sex offender for both men and women. I know I think he had 12 children, so he's obviously not entirely gay, as it were, but he's one of those that seems to sort of delight in harming, I think, both sexes. It's more, with these sort of people, it's more like a power game, isn't it? It's like a control freak. It's something that is, you know, as if fame wasn't enough, as if these billions of pounds weren't enough, as if the adoration of the world isn't enough. They have to have this other horrible hidden agenda. And it seems to be opening up, in my opinion and my feelings about this, a much bigger illness in society that spreads not just through this case. This case is just the tip of the iceberg, I feel. We've already had Epstein and all the horrible things like this, and now we got this. Isn't it about time we sort of uncover all of it? How much more is there to uncover? What do you think? You know, put your comments obviously later on. And also, don't forget, if you're new to the channel and you're on the channel, always give me a thumbs up, please, guys. It helps the algorithm. I know, sorry to ask for it. It's an annoying interruption, but it's important you give a thumbs up if you can, just to keep us up the charts, keep us popular. So is there also a bigger network here? My feeling is that there's a very big network of organized crime behind these things. If you think of the scale of these events and the number of people that are going to have to be complicit in this type of thing, you're going to have a lot of people, but you're also going to have a lot of corrupt people. You're going to have a lot of people prepared to turn a blind eye. And why too? Okay, part of it all is about sort of a form of debauchery and control over people, but could there not be something else behind it? Could there not be a blackmail ring perhaps going on behind this? This is my feeling, that something's kind of come out of this that's going to be like blackmail. Supposing you're a celebrity and you've been to one of these events, and apparently he had two types of events. You know, the guy had $1 billion, didn't he? And he had a wild lifestyle, but he had he had certain parties which you come to, you know, and that's almost like your public party in some ways. But then you got your second parties. So people even talk about, and I don't know, I don't really buy into this so much, but there was underground sort of parties, or literally underground, physically underground parties, and that these things are all over the place, including Washington and everywhere. Who knows? But I'm not going down that literal rabbit hole at the moment. But what, you know, if you're a celebrity and you've been pulled into one of these parties, and then you suddenly discover there's these other parties going on, particularly for what I think they call the white parties. That's sniffing cocaine, lines of cocaine, but sniffing cocaine from the bodies of call girls, you know. So there's obviously, you know, it's a lot of fantasy being offered to people here with what they want. So there were basically orgies. They were orgies for all types. They were males with males, females with females, males with females and males, and whatever you think about it is going to be there, all pumped up with big money, big cocaine. And, you know, is it just for his own interest, or could there be something else? You know, that there was so much as you've read it and seen it in the news, and I'm sure it's true. I mean, there's such a use of such exhaustion from taking so many drugs and sexual encounters that they were giving some of them intravenous drips, weren't they, to keep afterwards, you know, and then given his ex-girlfriend a really good kicking down the in the hotel lobby, and the guy's got such barefaced sense of power and entitlement to do whatever he wants to do, that he can do that in places where are likely to have cameras, no thought about what he's doing, purely responsive, purely almost, you know, up to the level of somebody you know, that's got absolute power, you know, like some dictator. You know, as they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I think this is what's happening here. This is the corridors of power, literally, where we see people kicked to death in a corridor of power. But where else does it go from here? How far does this extend? Is this just the tip of the iceberg that's also infecting world politics? How many other people are involved in this? And Also, if it's not just like celebrities, everybody wants to court celebrities, don't you? Politicians particularly want to court celebrities. We want celebrities giving a testimonial, an endorsement of how wonderful we are. And so, there's going to be others involved in this too, isn't there? So my feeling is that this really is a bigger can of worms than Epstein. And Epstein really, all what happened there has all been pushed down. It's all been pushed down the can, kicked down the road, hasn't it? We don't hear about it quite so much. Why isn't it on the front pages of all the newspapers even now? No, it's been quietened down, just like the royal family stuff quietened down. There's even talk about, I can't say things because I don't want to be libelous on anybody, but they've even talked about a royal connection with all this, so who else is involved? I can't say, but you might be able to say in the comments if you want to put your opinions about this. So what we're going to do about this guy? What would people be thinking? We got to get rid of him, haven't we? Because if you think about it, this is one of those situations. If you've got compromised video of somebody, and that compromised video is a big star or a big politician or a big name of any sort, someone very rich as well, those tapes, if in the hands of a criminal gang, are going to be worth a fortune. How much would a person pay, a billionaire or a trillionaire or whatever, would pay to shut them up? I'm not saying that Diddy's got these really. He might have been planning to this, but have other people got their hands on it? And this is what I feel is going to be the worst and the most troublesome thing about this, because the press are going to be hungry for this, and what tapes are out there and how could they be used, who's got them. Because it's not just a tape nowadays. It's not a videotape. Once you've got a file, you can make 1 million files from it. You can stick it on cloud. You can stick it on multiple devices. Never track it down. So who's got that? And I feel that one of the things that I predict with this is that we're going to see revelations of celebrity blackmail now and over the next few years while this thing unravels. Because we all want this to go to court tomorrow. It won't. It will take probably a long time. Certainly won't want to go to court straight away, with the elections looming, because who's been implicated in this and who wants to shut it up? It's in everybody's interest, I expect, to slow it down. And we know that politics tends to use the law in its favor very often. Anyway, so we got 30 years of this going on. This is like Jimmy Savile and the rest of it, isn't it? We've got 30 years. Obviously, he's not been proved guilty yet. So due process, a person is innocent and proved guilty. Of course, that's the case. But, when we think about this, if we're right in what we say and was right what the press is saying, that we've got 30 years of corruption and cover up going on, 30 years of it, 25 at least, but 30 years. So that could run into thousands of victims, thousands of people implicated in it as well. We got perpetrators and victims. How many people? Where does it end? Where does it end? So what would he do? What choice has Diddy got now? I mean, does he just take the rap for the whole lot and get put into a prison where he's probably likely to be bumped off? Because just for the second, just for the cases, just for the credit of knocking him out or killing him or whatever you want to do to him, or humiliate him, is going to be a big thing in prison. So you're never going to let him near other prisoners, are we? We wouldn't let Epstein do that, would we? We wouldn't let anybody near him. So his life is very much in danger from this, obviously. Do you think so? What's your comments on that? Is his life in danger? What choice does he have? I mean, I feel the only choice he's got, and this is how I feel it's going to go, I think he's going to have to blab. He's going to have to try to find a way to reduce his sentence, because otherwise he's got a lifetime. He's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's going to have a lifetime in prison pretty much if it goes into thousands of complaints, because you're going to have to take all those complaints into account. You can't just do one or two of them, because the next lot are coming on, the next lot. He could be pushing the line of how long he stays in prison longer and longer and further ahead. So he has no choice, does he, but to talk? That's my feeling. And let's face it, the guy's also, allegedly he's a drug addict and a sex addict. And he'll have no choice, will he? He'll have no choice. He won't be able to cope in jail. He's going to have to do a deal. And what has he got to deal with? The money's no good to him now. And money don't work for him now. It might be able to pay off a few people to stop him getting self-killed in prison. But, you know, what's he going to do? He's going to have to spill the beans on what's going on. He's really got no choice. Meanwhile, that's if he can survive it, if they don't get to him first, because any one of these people might want to pay someone to do a dirty deed on him, and he's going to have to be in that prison network. You know, we all know that prisoners always have phones, and once you've got a phone, you've got access to the internet. Once you've got access to the internet, you can sort of do all sorts of things, including transfer money and things like this. And if you've got contacts outside, you know, maybe he would be blackmailed too. I feel there's a whole big criminal undertone here. This is the Hollywood swamp, isn't it? This is another one that needs draining. This is another area where corruption has seeped in so deeply that it's destroying that whole industry, that whole entertainment industry. You know, so entertainment, really, when you think about it, entertainment is walking hand in hand with some very dark forces in the name of entertainment. And entertainment is such an important part. We all spend our days, we all spend our evening being entertained on television. And what terrible forces are behind this? What has our society come to when you think about how low it can stoop here? How many knew about this? You know, I mean, I don't think anybody's surprised, actually. Nobody's surprised what's going on. They all know what's going on. When things like this go on, someone at work does something, everybody knows about it, don't they? Someone in the family does something, everybody kind of knows all about it. And it's all done, you know, private messages and the rest of it. Everybody knows what's going on, and everybody in Hollywood and the whole entertainment industry knows what was going on. This whole American Hollywood, the BBC here in the UK, it's all infected. It's infected by some very dark politics, very dark people, which is also affecting politics as well, because everybody shuts up about this. You know, suddenly when Jimmy Savile dies, everybody knows how, we all knew about this, but nobody dares say. You know, we're Rolf Harris, nobody dares say. You know, who knows what this is going to uncover? There's certainly hints already that there could be underage sex going on here. And Justin Bieber, for example, who's a victim. I don't want to say anything horrible about him, but what happened to him? You know, and what damage these things do to people like that's careers, the innocent and anybody else. There's all exactly the same. You know, the victimhood here is going to be terrible for many people whose careers could be tarnished or even destroyed. And all the ones that we worry about and suspects, they will go on vacation, don't they? They all clear off. They don't want to talk about it. Let's go on holiday. Let's go to Italy. You know, put the tin hat on and run away. So this is pretty horrific, isn't it? So what do I see? What do I see for the way ahead with this? And we'll have your thoughts about too. What do you see as well? But you know, obviously we know a lot about these things. When you make a prediction, it's always best not to know anything about it, and something comes up unexpected. That's why at the beginning of the year, my predictions are interesting, because I'm talking about things far ahead that I don't have any feeling about. So obviously there's things influencing me here too. But my feeling first is that he will be jailed. I think it's pretty obvious he's going to be jailed. But my feeling is that he'll be jailed. But how long? People are thinking, it'll be indefinite. But I feel they're going to do a plea deal, and how much that plea deal destroys other people's careers, I don't know. But I think you'll get something like 20 years, which frankly for this is a small amount. It's a small amount. So I feel they'll do a plea deal. So that's one of my predictions. They'll do a plea deal and they'll get 20 years. My other prediction is a little bit like I said earlier on, that organised crime are involved in this, and that will be revealed, that organised crime on a big scale is involved in this. There's some big money will change hands to keep him alive, and that will be revealed by the press too, I feel. And this is the other important part of this. There's going to be celebrity blackmail revealed. There's going to be cases where there has been full-on celebrity blackmail, because I feel there's something else behind this. Not necessarily Diddy that's doing this, but the people that have the tapes, the organization, because it's not just one person. It can't be one person. You couldn't organize all this on your own. You'd have to have a network of people. So also another prediction. I've been sensing that someone will get to him, and I was trying to sort of tune into what I saw, and I felt the face like burn like that. So I feel that someone's going to burn him. Or I felt hot, and I get the feeling that someone's going to scold him or do something to his face. Now, I made a prediction earlier in the year that I saw a celebrity being burned. Do you remember that? And actually, people spotted that one and said, "Oh, Craig, you got to see that? That's Slipknot. That's the guy from Slipknot that got burnt badly recently. Slipknot, the band, you know. I mean, better know here in the UK than America. But could it be him? Could he be the one that's physically burned? I get the feeling, and maybe it's not immediately. I'm not saying this in the next few months or something, but I get the feeling there's going to be some disfigurement done to him." Okay, so it's a horrible prediction to make, but that's what I saw. That's what my image was. That's what my vision was. And let's hope. I don't wish any harm on anybody. All people ultimately have to find a way to redemption, I suppose. But that's what I saw. And I also was tuning in, and you know, I get bits and pieces sometimes. I can't see it all. You seem to think I can see everything so clearly, but I get bits and pieces. And what I saw was a male and a female politician. I was getting pictures of a male and female politician who's going to be implicated in one of these freak-offs, as he calls them. You know, and I think they're Democrat, but I can't be sure. But I get a feeling there's going to be some big political explosion coming out of this, and I feel it's Democrat. That might be because it's California. Maybe I'm just because it's strong Democrat areas and things. But I just saw something with this, and I also saw much more implications in this of child abuse too, and an abuse of migrant children being pushed across the border. I mean, there's been suspicions of this for some time, that this type of thing's going on. Where are they shipping them to? If that is the case, and I feel this is being shipped into the people that got the money that can afford to do this type of thing and cover it up. So I'm seeing there's already hints about abuse of minors, but my feeling is it's much bigger. We got to dig deeper into this, and will they let people dig deeper? I mean, let's hope that the judges are really going to hold firm on this and push it to the bitter end and make sure that what needs to be revealed is revealed. But you know, like so often what happens with this, you know, with Ghislaine Maxwell and with the Epstein and all the rest of it, and the royal family here and everything, it all gets pushed under the carpet because they've got the money to cover it up. So my fears are that, you know, we won't see all of it. But I think there's a lot more than meets the eye with this. What do you think? Let's have your comments, guys. Put your comments afterwards as well. I try to make these videos into a little bit of a forum for you as well, you know, where you can express your ideas and share ideas, you know. So finally, I suppose so I saw that. I see that with that, and this will be after the US elections. It won't be at the time of the elections. All this is going to be pushed after the elections. I feel there's going to be delays in the court. They're going to try to delay it as long as they can, get it out the public view as much as they can. And finally, I suppose my other prediction is that he's going to do a plea deal of some sort to mitigate his situation and share the blame. And they're already talking about this, but I see big top stars being implicated in this. I've got a number of ideas, but I really can't share that, can I? I don't want to get into litigation with that type of thing. So obviously I've got to be careful. Anybody's got to be careful what they say about that. But I saw a number in my mind, and Jane had the similar feelings, but you know, who is it? I love to say what I feel with that, but there's something else there. You know, there's definitely going to say there. So, you know, when we think about this, these people, they're being paraded as our heroes, aren't they? I would like to see a different sort of hero. I prefer the old style heroes, you know, the John Wayne sort of, the John Wayne sort of characters, the heterosexual white man, you know, and we don't get them anymore. Or the beautiful female heroine, you know, we don't see that anymore. We seem to see these filtered sort of ideas now, where Hollywood seems to be on a strange sort of world where the heroes were being shown seem to be so contrary to what any of us want, whatever our backgrounds and cultures. You know, we're seeing such awful people being touted as being our heroes. Who do we look up to nowadays? You know, there's awful things. Justin Bieber too. What awful situations for him. I feel, and I think, you know, I think people will give him support. He won't be. I don't think his career will be damaged by this, but I feel that quite the opposite in many ways. You know, yeah, I'm just looking at your comments coming in on the side there. You know, so there's lots going on. We do live, don't we? I mean, I'm very interested in the Indian teachings, as you know, and some of the teachings of the ancient Indian prophecies, because of my interest in the NAADIs, which you saw in the last video, as often in the Puranas, what they call it, not the fish, but the teachings. And they see this period that we're in. We're coming into Kali Yuga. Well, we're in Kali Yuga, but at the depths of it, we will see so much corruption and greed in our leaders, in our rulers, and where wealth is prioritized over justice and power, and morality fails. You know, there'll be the loss of what they call dharma, which I suppose you can loosely translate as righteousness. And we'll see the end in this period of traditional values it predicted. Spiritual principles eroded, and people were losing their sense of duty, and leading to widespread unethical behavior. Even the gurus, they say, in this time will be corrupted by the darkness of this shadow that falls over the world. It says how there will be disrespect for the elderly, disrespect for teachers. Younger generations no longer respect the elder generations. I'm about to say that now, I'm getting my age. Materialism rife in the world, desire, selfishness, and deception and falsehood will be the touchstones of society. All these things are predicted there, and are basically a decline of compassion, the ending of kindness, and devaluation of these things, and the increase in selfishness. And with it, said shorter lives, because in the other yugas, and the yugas of the Satya Yuga and the other yugas, people can live in the glorious yugas to the age of 400, they say. But in this yuga, we have you know, the shorter age that we have now. All of it much marked by the spiritual decline that's happening. And is it not Hollywood that is the bastion of our heroes? You know, people that are, they're public figures that we should look to. You know, when you're a kid, you look to heroes. You know, everybody looks to heroes. We watch videos and movies and things. We're looking to heroes all the time. We're looking for people that we can associate with it. The hero's story is the basis of storytelling, really. And what have we got? Awful people. Anyway, that's my thoughts to begin with. I'm going to take a few of your questions, but so I can just check out your questions. And if you can put your questions in now, perhaps nice and clearly, even with a Q in front or something, so I can spot them. I've only got a few seconds to star a few of them while I just stick a little advert on. And then I'll come back to you. Now, the little advert I'm just going to put up is about my services doing the group readings. So I've put some new ones up. Those of you that like to interact with me, and get readings on be a demonstration of mediumship. I do mainly on these ones. You can join me on these shows. So I'm going to put the little advert up now, only a few minutes, and I'll just quickly have a look at what your questions are. So put some questions up, guys, now, and I'll have a good look. Coming up are a few short clips from my online spiritual workshops. She's going, woohoo! I feel that it's about time. You know, it's like, she tells me you're also quite interested in astrology.
Yes, I'm doing astrology. Yes, exactly.
Studying astrology.
Yes,
She had a habit of rubbing her hands like this, didn't she too? Was this a habit she had all the time? She got getting
Yes.
her doing that and like to do this as well with things. So
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and although she's a comfortable build lady, I feel that she would like to jump or dance around quite a lot. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
seeing her bouncing around. So she was quite a big lady, but very agile, you know?
Yeah. She did that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh
So I
goodness!
just
Wow.
see her there. Though. She said she's just seeing some green shield stamps, but she was absolutely fanatic about those. And
We've
was
been talking about green shield.
you were talking
stamps
about it. There we go. I
just
knew there was something
recently.
specially significant about the green shield stamps. Have you still got a pair of shoes or an item of clothing of his still?
I have a jacket.
Okay, you still got his jacket, and this is going back a long time. This is,
A
and he just
long
says
time.
you have very vivid dreams. I want to say as well, because she's saying to me that you dream of her, and you've had very vivid dreams. And she says you have a dream of being left alone as well. There's been a dreams of being left alone, of being left on a street or something. It looks like I've been left somewhere. I can't get the car. I've got something like this. She's telling me about your dreams. She says that that is partly emotional, but it's this like a feeling of abandonment. You know, when I do a reading, when it's finished, I forget it. Like
It just
this, I
blew
forget
me.
it. I look at the
That
video, I
reading just
remember
blew
it.
me. I mean, I was shocked. It really, I mean, thank you so much, Craig, because you brought so much of evidential, that proof that was so needed, I think. So I think it's really mind-blowing what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, it's not me, it's the spirit world, but I've got quite a sudden passing with her, like it's something like an accident.
But yes, I do know
See the
somebody.
feel with her. Was this a car accident?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's
And
that's
and,
it.
and have
Wow.
I hit my head in the car accident? Because I feel my head's either hit the steering wheel or hit the windscreen, because I feel it's my head that was damaged from this.
She hit the driver. She was coming back late night, and the driver fell asleep at the wheel and hit a boulders, like barriers in the road.
Yeah,
so it could well be.
So it's really sort of head on then, isn't it? So it's
well done.
So I've got so that's who she is.
I feel very strongly that I would like to give a testimonial. Some of our patrons just now talked about the accuracy. For me, some of it was just mind-blowing. Even today, I mean, the friend that you picked through and the connections, but I've had even more accurate than that. I mean, I've had incredible evidence, which
Sheila, I totally agree with you. I mean,
Thanks.
it was amazing. I mean, I didn't even share a photograph. My mother was not on any social media.
Yeah.
But he really channeled and he did a fantastic job. I mean, I
Yeah.
was blown. I was just blown.
It's evidence Craig has given me. I came running down to tell my mother. I can't.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, Craig, you're going to blush. It's absolutely incredible, the evidence that I got.
yeah, it was like mind blowing is all I can
Yeah.
say.
Well, there we go. Right. Well, while you were all watching the advert there, and probably a few more that YouTube's probably bunged in at the same time, I've started a few of your comments to see if I can. Okay, I've started some of your comments, so it's always good if we get some really good comments. I know you kind of all come in a bit randomly because I kind of go live with these sort of at all sorts of different times, so it's a matter of catching us. So you can't really prepare very well. But thanks, you've given me a few questions here. Let's just go through a few of them. Let's get the ones most on topic at the moment. That's an interesting one. Will the fallout from these scandals claim the scalps of notorious politicians who are already suspected of similar crimes? Cough, cough, Clinton, cough. Well, look, I can't name. I'm not going to name what I think, but I feel that what we got here, and I expect you think the same, Jason, I'm sure, from what you're saying here, is that this isn't just the entertainment industry, is it? This is something else. This is perhaps the whole of the upper echelons of not just American society, but society at whole. We've become an international world at the moment, and whatever's going on in America surely is also going on in Europe and the UK as well. because all these people, you know, they all travel to each other's places and things. So I think we're the politicians. I'm seeing a big political fallout from this. I feel there'll be a big political, and that is actually more worrying than what is happening in the celebrity world, because the celebrity world, that they're individuals, but the politicians and the businessmen and the pharmaceutical industry, something there too. Could there be something with the pharmaceutical industry? I feel, because you know, this, I just get a sense that date drugs were being used here. Who supplies all that lot? You know, that could be, the fallout could be even bigger than we possibly imagine. So yes, and I'm not going to comment on Clinton. I don't answer personal questions, but you've said I've been under spiritual attack this year. Are others experiencing this? I think, now, I'm not making any private personal comments on these, but or readings, as it were. But I think a lot of people have been feeling, you know, much the same, that there seems like an energy in the air. I know there's a lot going on in the world at large at the moment. We've got all sorts going on. Who would, you know, you can hardly look at the news nowadays without cringing at what you see. I mean, we've got pretty much World War III on our doorstep. We got almost a sort of an environmental apocalypse going on in Florida and other places around the world, and drought will cross Africa, which we forget about. You know, massive drought across the middle of Africa at the moment. We're seeing the world at its knees, and I think actually in people's individual lives, the influence seems to be affecting people close up too. You know, and you talk about spiritual attack, but I think in terms of, are we bringing the dark forces to the surface? You know, are we beginning to see those people in our personal lives being revealed for who they really are? I feel that's probably a good thing, isn't it? And all this, what's going on in politics, and the shake-up that's going on in this entertainment industry, you know, it's what's already there, isn't it? It's good. We're catching the criminals, and maybe that's also in our own individual lives, Deborah. So I know how you feel there, and I think others feel that. Do you feel the same? Is that in your life at the moment? Let's have your comments later in the description afterwards in the comments. That was an interesting thought too. I saw that one come up, Petra. Did they trick those people on the parties with the MK Ultra, so they were trapped in the parties to do it? Yes, I think this I get because why have two types of party, right? Why have the well, that's what people have alleged anyway. I don't know, I wasn't there, but they have one sort of party which they suck in all the celebrities, and maybe some that are you know, people that are completely innocent go into those things, of course. And then they have the other ones, the other freakouts and whatever you call it, and the rest of it that went on as well, you know. So we kind of say, come on, sir, we have another special party going on. You're invited into the inner chamber. So it's almost a bit like a web in some ways. And the very fact you step through the door means that you're already implicated just by being there. So your career is already kind of threatened if you're a public figure. So yeah, I think it's a spider's web. I think it's a trap. And that was an interesting observation. Does Diddy and Epstein's list cross? I bet it does. I bet. The thing is, we haven't got the full story from there, have we, either? So I bet there's a lot of the same names on there. I mean, you don't just go to one party, do you, in Hollywood? You go to all the parties, and you go to the most exciting parties, and you go to those that appeal most to you, and you go to these clandestine parties, and nobody worry, it's all covered up. Nobody ever know, you know. Now, thank God, we're beginning to hear. Okay, there wasn't many. One about Kamala Harris. Will Kamala be arrested for the illegal border opening of criminals into the US? No, I can't see her being arrested. Sorry, I don't see that. But anyway, interesting thought, I suppose, if you that's the way you feel. And we're pretty much there. What's that one? No, you predicted a third attempt on Trump. Did the failed attempt in California you felt? Actually, no, it didn't. I know I said a third attempt, but the one I saw him, I saw Trump coming out of a vehicle. It's while he's getting out of a vehicle and something happens and he's on the pavement. Now, whether he'd been hit or not, I don't know, or whether it was a very close shave. I think it was a close shave. It was reminiscent of what happened to Reagan. That's how I saw it. Very reminiscent to what happened to Reagan when there was an attempt on his life. But he didn't get killed, did he, Reagan? So that's something that I feel coming up. I think that's after he's president, as it were. And what's that last one there? What did you say? I watched your video about 2024 predictions. Nearly everything has come about. Incredible. Well, that's a nice note to finish it on. Yes, that's a good point, guys. Thank you for that. That's kind of you. Yes. So, so there we go. Quite an interesting period ahead for all of us at the moment, isn't it? I think I'll be back again with some more stuff. Don't forget, have another look if you want in the description below. I've got those links to my Zoom workshop type thing. So the Zoom readings, really. So you can interact with me. I only have 15 people in each one. So it gives everybody a chance to interact with me directly. And there's a few new readings, there's things on the website too, for those that want to jump the queue. And if you really love, all this and you want to support what the work we do here and want to support I suppose you could call it our mission or our channel or whatever, consider becoming either a patron or becoming one of the YouTube members as well, because both I put extra content up and you can interact with me, and I ask for your questions for these shows as well, so you can also get more involved in the show. Anyway, thanks ever so much for being part of this. See you again next time. Oh, one more. We've got an interesting one coming up too later on about coming up soon about the food industry. And I've got some special guests for that. That's going to be very interesting about Ayurvedic food and eating for health and things like that. And although it's not as contentious as this, I think you'll find it very, very interesting. So watch out for that one. It should be up soon, hopefully. Okay, see you soon, guys. Bye for now.
So do you like what I have to say? And do you like my work? Well, why don't you support my work? Have a look in the description below to go to my website, find out about psychic readings, find out about our NAADI readings with the Indian NAADI Oracle, buy my books and join my workshops online by Zoom. All there on the website psychics.co.uk.